Shonen Manga are directly responsible for delivering some of the most exciting, fun, and fucking off-the-wall stories ever crafted in modern media, and right now is no different. So when I pull you in close and whisper into your ear to tell you that we are emerging into a new age of Shonen Manga, you should be really excited. We got stories about John Wick cleaning up in aisle 4, a monster virgin, a gynecologist who was reborn and breastfed by his favorite. I don't know how that one got in there. Basically, yeah, all of these series are fantastic, they are great, but they are also all ongoing manga, which means you and I have to patiently wait week to week, sometimes even a month, for a new chapter to come out. And because of this, one cold dark summer's night, I began to think, what about the classics? What about all of those completed series? Where is Ken's Ball? Where the fuck is Ken's Ball? Which all only led me to think, how do some of the most popular shonen manga of today compare to some of the best completed shonen manga of all time? Now, let me tell you what we are going to do. We are going to go back in time, read some of the best shonen manga from 1990 all the way up to 2010, and put them against some of the most popular, if not loved, shonen manga out right now in some sort of shonen manga deathmatch. Does that sound cool, exciting, amazing? Now, some of these you will definitely know, some of them you might not, so feel free to use the timestamps to skip around. Either way, my name is Ben, and this is how to not pick up girls. And I really wish someone would have fucking told me that. Okay, I know that this is one everybody knows about and has probably read, but if we're going back through the ages, only one manga truly defines the early 90s. Often looked at as the king of sports manga, Slam Dunk doesn't need any introduction. From Ice Shield 21 to Kuroko no Basket to Haikyuu, many series have come and gone, but Takehiko Inoue slaps each of them away from ever getting within a foot of his throne. Only Slam Dunk doesn't start out as anything special. See if you heard this one before. A genetically gifted virgin who gets into fights, schemes and dreams about getting the girl and just finding his own way in life. Only this time around, Sakuragi gives you that connection. He's an athletic, lovable and passionate delinquent, but most of all, yeah, he's dumb as fuck. How do I put this? You see, due to Sakuragi's unique athletic ability and his dick, he finds himself in a position as a bench warmer on the school's basketball team and an imaginary love contest with the best rookie inside of Japan. Now, with all of that information available to you, you would naturally think, ooh, Sakuragi must be really good at playing basketball. Ooh, Sakuragi must have a lot of experience playing Yeah, the answer is no. I think what makes Slam Dunk special is Sakuragi's growth. He literally starts with nothing. He doesn't know the rules, he kicks the ball, he fouls constantly, but then he learns to dribble and to make a rebound. He steals the ball, makes a jump shot, and throughout the entire story, you not only watch him grow, you see his development as a player, and around him you see redemption, loss, dreams crushed, new levels reached, and a different mountain to climb with each and every single matchup. Emotion. The peaks in this manga are iconic for a very good reason. You have seen this team come together from the ground up. You've seen people literally turn their lives around. You've seen how much everybody has to struggle. So when you see them win, you don't just read it, you are there to feel every moment, every smile, every fist bump, every time the ball bounces off the rim in slow motion and does that little bouncy movement and you get the anxiety in the pit of your stomach. Yeah, kind of like that. Slam Dunk delivers all of these vibes through stunning, amazing artwork and unforgettable characters, which Inoue released all the way back in 1990 but has managed to leave a series that transcends time as the sports manga. And upon its ending in 1996, Takehiko Inoue had left a blueprint for the entire genre to follow. But in 2018, one author would stand up and say, nah, fuck that. I think the best way to describe Blue Lock is to imagine Haikyuu on fucking speed. But to keep this PG, Blue Lock is a sports manga that has really exploded in popularity by giving people exactly what they want to read. Okay, I wrote the script before the anime came out, I swear. Do you like football? Boom! Do you also like manga? Pow! Do you like boy love or some batshit insane art that makes no sense but also the most sense? Do you like to see your manga take place in a prison with naked boys, warm soapy showers, milfs, stoners, cringy fucking dialogue, then Blue Lock would be a manga that you're all too familiar with. Capitalizing on Haikyuu waving goodbye, Isagi Yoichi may be a boy with zero fucking personality, but he does have big dreams of becoming Japan's next top striker. So when given what looks like his last chance to achieve those dreams, he fucking takes it, and so do 300 other greedy fucks with the exact same dream. Because what allows Blue Lock to stand out against every other sports manga is greed. From the top of its lungs it screams fuck teamwork and decides to focus entirely on the individual. You're told that to be great, you need an ego. To win, you need to be ruthless. Your friends only exist to be devoured inside the shower. Okay, that's a typo. Blue Lock stands as the third most popular sports manga of all time on MAL by being different, dynamic, a little bit homoerotic, artistic, and just fucking cool. But for everything that it does so differently, why does it fuck up some of the basics? You know the way most battle shonen have these extensive worlds that you just can't help but explore. These villains that just hook you in. Well, yeah, most sports manga don't have that. So they need to make sure that their characters and personalities are able to carry that story. With just a tiny sprinkle of charisma, the most random of sports can capture the entire world's interest. So, with Blue Lock having a really popular sport and an insane amount of characters, you would naturally think, wow, there must be a lot of unique personalities with different dreams and desires. How could one author actually manage to balance them all? Yeah, about that. It doesn't. You see, when every single character looks at each other as a rival to overcome and eventually devour each other, I swear to God it's not gay. Okay, it's kinda gay. As well as all sharing the exact same dreams and desires, it means that most of the dialogue and most of the shit that goes down game to game, i.e. the entire fucking series, are reused constantly. Now this would be okay if the author could just build on this and move forward, but this sort of narrative is just copy and pasted upon every single player. What made this series so different is slowly but surely destroying it. Everything players do has become predictable based on the rules that were set at the very beginning of the story. Everyone is an overly edgy red-pilled egoist. Some might be lazy, some might be cool to smoke with, some might have muscles, which for the first arc is super fucking cool. But coming up on 200 chapters, it just makes the story feel like it lacks any cohesive direction to it. Which after an insanely hype and high stakes game, where everything was on the line, the series could have gone to a whole new level, but it just doesn't. It blew its load way too early, and now we're gone back training but with different faces, mainly the same fucking faces, but now it gets live streamed and they wear different jerseys, and I don't know how to feel about it. In contrast, how Slam Dunk handles his characters through limiting their stamina, their knowledge of the game, just being fucking retarded, or putting aside their pride for the betterment of the team, creates more distinct moments and personas that build individuals that will never fucking die. The slice of life aspects in some chapters, the drama, Uozumi peeling a fucking carrot during the most intense moment of the series, even the fucking pathetic fallacy in the Sano game, oh my God, a good narrative doesn't just elevate the series, it defines it. And when both series are great to look at, the deciding factor lies within the story. Why the fuck am I rambling? Slam Dunk was never... You know that lucid dream state where you know you're in full control of everything, but you just can't stop all of the batshit insane events from going down around you, so you just sit still and watch everything play out. Dandadan is the closest thing that a manga has ever provided to that state. Okay, you know what? It's basically like ketamine, but it's manga. Which, you know, is to be expected. The manga comes from one Yukinobu Tatsu, whose manga daddy at one point in time was Tatsuki Fujimoto, a madman who most recently dropped 57 pages centered around a fucking talking chicken. Stop. Now, with that little nugget of information fresh in your mind, it comes as no surprise that Dandadan features super horny aliens that try to steal human bananas, heavenly testicles, a dead granny that offers blowies, psychedelic earthworms that listen to Pink Floyd themselves, Mexican aliens that work for milk, the Loch Ness Monster, and the author self-inserting himself on the main character at every moment he can. Alien sci-fi nerd Takakura Ken is just another shonen monster virgin. He's a quiet nerd who can't quite stand up to his bullies until one day he meets tsundere. Momo is the local badass bitch, but also a closeted ghost lover because that shit turns out to be really fucking embarrassing. So in the really unnatural way that can only really go down in the manga, the two begin to argue about spirits or aliens existing, with Ken conceding to go and visit a local haunted tunnel, and Momo deciding to go and search for some aliens. So she goes down to the local Home Depot. Now, I don't want to get into spoilers, but wow, boys, I can't show this on screen. Alien dick, psychic powers, monsters and shit. Dandadan is one of these manga that will deliver a unique experience where I know that every Monday we can sit down cross-legged, read it, and comfortably say that we will never see anything like this ever again. The story will somehow flip and escalate just by turning the page. You really thought it couldn't top what went down last time, did ya? Here's footage of everyone fighting Ken's testicle. Here he is pooping with the door open. Flying cows. Turn the page again, it will get dark and sinister as you see the main duo try to off themselves as they're driven to the brink of insanity. So one of the many reasons that you found out about this manga comes down to madness. One way or another, that first chapter hooked you in, but that, my friend, is only a fifth, a sliver of what you get. You see, past the flashing lights, the extremities, and everything that grabs your attention, what you begin to find that Dandadan does best is people. Gigi, Ira, Kinta, don't get me wrong, I love each of them as they are now, but when you first meet them, they are fucking annoying. Ira comes in as this underhanded and devious bitch. Gigi was this chat that was about to red pill Ken's entire existence. Kinta was a horny and sweaty nerd. Shit, sorry. Kinta was a weeb, but then chapter after chapter they grow on you. You begin to see past all of Gigi's goofy faces as he fucking grabs the spotlight from Ken. Ira, you know what, she's actually not all that bad. And being a sweaty otaku somehow turns out to be something that we didn't know we needed. Because what Yukinobu does with Dandadan is remind you to judge someone by their actions, and over time, those actions, they win out. A lot of what Dandadan does and allows it to stand out so much comes down to the fact that Yukinobu Tatsu has been given full creative freedom. Manga Plus may be a lot of things and it may house a lot of fucking trash, but one thing that it does is it gives these authors a chance that regular Shonen Jump doesn't. That just 5, 10, 15 years ago had not existed for Shonen Jump manga. Series like Hell's Paradise, Fire Punch, Dandadan, Kaiju No. 8, even Spy Fam would have never seen the light of day. And with a lot of this video focusing on how Shonen Jump has changed over the years, I thought, you know what, there hasn't ever been a series as batshit insane in a shonen as Dandadan. This would be a great example of change over the years, and making the point that Manga Plus has done a lot to bring us some crazier series. And I thought I would sound really smart by saying that, but then I completely forgot that this series from 1996 had ever fucking existed. Great Teacher Onizuka has made its name as the best feel-good story out there for a very good reason. There are lessons and values in this manga that can fundamentally change you as a person, but most of all, it is funny, exciting, motivating, and unafraid of laying everything out right in front of you because fucking nobody got offended all the way back in 1996. At just the raw age of 22 years old, Onizuka is a person as experienced and outlandish as they come, but most of all, he is one of the greatest perverts ever written into a manga. For example, some of his more notable exploits include fucking a cup ramen, asking a 14-year-old what that chest do, and using a dead girl's as a fucking mouth organ. And you can find a man like Onizuka spending his days applying to any job opening he can find and staring up the skirts of any high school girl he can also find as life slowly happens to him day by day. Once revered as one of the toughest delinquents in the nation and national karate champion, now rots on the bottommost rungs of society until one day he receives a tiny glimmer of hope. A young high school girl called Erica enters as holy psych! She's banging her 50-year-old crippled teacher! As a result, Onizuka is destroyed at this revelation, but this moment of sadness births one of pure unadulterated genius as he then sets out to become the greatest teacher ever so he can finally bang a high schooler. Just like Dandadan, Onizuka is unhinged. It is crazy, but what makes this series so important to 146,849 people are the lessons that it delivers and how it actually goes about delivering them. You see, when Onizuka steps up to teach, he knows that he just can't demand respect. Standing at the top of the room, that shit just doesn't work for anyone. Instead, he earns it by showing them real life. As the narrative rolls, Eikichi Onizuka earns trust by beating 100 men at arm wrestling, saving lives, finding the nipple, breaking down walls, running down the side of a fucking building, sending some of his students into a bukkake gangbang, then saving those same students from that same bukkake gangbang, or realizing that one student isn't too bright. But shit, those titties would look great on a big screen. You see, whereas in Dandadan, the crazy things will happen to Ken and Momo, in GTO, Onizuka is the crazy. Just like you have a Jorex or an empty Snickers wrapper, you get the same fun experience. It's just wrapped up in a completely different package. I remember GTO making me do something that most manga are just fucking incapable of, and that's making me genuinely care about its characters. The likes of Urumi Kansaki may be evil incarnate, but fucking masterfully as it does throughout the entire series, the story will display these confident and evil personas, but then you see them break down. You see the human side of them, the children of divorce, single parents, neglect, isolation. You don't just see them get built up, but over the course of the story, you see that this guy is different to that guy. This chick is more of a bitch than this one. You watch and grow with the class, and Onizuka as for a relationship is tested through turmoil, hardship, and fucking batshit insane circumstances. You go on yet another unforgettable journey. Okay, and enough of the gay shit. They may be separated by 25 years, but it's the same smiles, the same energy. Insanity is used to aid their storytelling, but that delivery remains the same, unchanged, regardless of where they are published, online or on papers. Just like Dandadan, GTO is a story that you're going to struggle to forget, because even after all this time, you are still walking away with something very fucking special. And I think that is really fucking cool, but we got more shit to talk about.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
As hundreds of cases of missing people increase across Japan, one name left on a mysterious calling card begins to sweep the nation. Just who is Nemesis Q? Siren is a manga that you, me, and Mussolini likely discovered when that really old guy on Trash Taste talked about it and said, and you know what, he makes some good points, because while it does look generic, sound generic, and talk generic, it more than makes up for it by delivering on drama, mystery, and world building, all of which sparks to life within one single chapter. On the ground you've Agaha, who's dumb as a brick, but he's a goddamn problem solver. If you somehow happen to be a student with $100 to spare who doesn't want to lift a finger, you go to Agaha. Stalkers, bullies, stray cats, missing children, this man is a goddamn whore for the money. So one fateful night, when he is contacted by this strange being and given this weird calling card, his first reaction is, eh? Yeah, he doesn't really think much of it, but when one of his friends disappear after receiving that same card, okay, listen, cut him some slack, he's kinda slow. But then through the power of shonen writing, Agaha is transported to another world where fucking monsters eat people headfirst right in front of you. Other players are having their bodies ripped apart, and that girl he was looking for now wields a very special weapon. All you know is that being in this world means that you're one step closer to Nemesis Q. Then just as quickly as it all started, Agaha and Co return home, still to unravel the mystery of Nemesis Q. Siren was another one of those series that seems to have just been released at the wrong time. Think Jujutsu Kaisen X Gans. I mean, that sounds cool, exciting, dynamic. No? You see, unfortunately, Siren was also held back by some of the most dead and generic art available in manga at that time, and that didn't exactly help its case, especially when it was going up against a big fucking free. But as you watch this mystery slowly unravel right in front of you, you can't help but become entranced in everything this series has to offer, and if there's one one thing that we've learned today, we know that first impressions are fucking everything when it comes to manga, and Siren is somewhat of a mixed bag. Really, if you saw this on Tinder, you wouldn't know whether to swipe left or swipe right. You will not be impressed by the art, you will not be impressed by the fucking characters, you will not find this funny unless you're borderline brain dead, but hey, that's just me. But if you just swipe right, if you can see past the stereotypes and embrace the positives, you will be entertained by a series that epitomizes everything Shonen Jump has to offer, and that's all I can really say without spoiling it. Siren's life may have been very short-lived, but its influence still holds to this very fucking day. Authors like Black Clover's Yuki Tabata found their start with this series, but if we dig just that little bit deeper, we can see that there was another monster hard at work on Siren all those years ago. Kaiju number 8 follows Kaiju No, also known as Franz Kafka, aka Kafka by the Sea, or Kafka Gets No Pussy. I am losing my fucking mind. Our boy Kafka here is a 33-year-old monster virgin who is actually capable of turning into a fucking monster. And if that first chapter is anything to go by, so lives in a world that struggles to survive with the ongoing threat of Kaiju wreaking havoc across. It's just Japan, it's never any other fucking place. Then the camera pans to Kafka. Yep, that's him shuffling Kaiju shit. Life ain't exactly playing out as he planned. You see, Kafka wanted to be a super soldier with his big titty goth GF, but shit quite literally goes sideways, and now through him being older, we get a different type of story and a small insight into adult life. As over the years, Kafka has evidently become a fucking adult, and as an adult, spends most of his days doing something that he fucking hates and drinking away the pain of having to live his life in quiet desperation. But lo and behold, once again, through the ingenuity of shonen writing, Kafka, rather sexually, acquires the ability to transform into a kaiju at will, and now uses that power for some fucking reason to join the army and do some good and find the other monster shifter that's threatening humanity. Blah 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 blah. Whoa, stop the fucking music. Okay, you've heard this story before. Devilman, Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, narratively, Kaiju doesn't do anything that you haven't seen before, but what it does do is something very simple. It trims out all the fat and gives your ADHD riddled brain exactly what it wants. Don't worry, I'm in the same fucking boat as you, because action scenes are Shonen Jump's party trick that they use to impress a girl at the club, and Kaiju number 8 knows how to pull that rabbit right out of her ass and make you hear every snap, crackle and pop. Okay, forgive the script. Every impact and movement in Kaiju number 8 makes a fucking sound. Kafka jumping alone shatters an entire fucking city. His punch generates a miniature fucking sonic boom. Monsters don't just get hit, they get dragged across the page, their bodies rippling before they explode, and their blood rains down from the sky like a bucket of... Yes, narratively it is generic, but the clean art, the levels of hype generated in these pages, as well as it putting its own spin on things by using an old guy and dinosaurs, make it stand out just that little bit more. Anyway, to cut a monkey's tail in half, here we have two series that define the generic battle manga of their respective generations, with Kaiju very much being a smooth-brained version of Attack on Titan, with sprinkles of My Hero Academia made for those of us with short attention spans that like loud noises, and Siren, well, Siren very much fell victim to every little trope and stereotype that could be housed within a late 2000s shonen. Yes, both get branded as generic, but both series achieve exactly what they set out to do, which is to entertain me and you for that hour every morning we spend with our pants around our ankles. And really, that's all we really need. Hi, so what you've seen so far has taken the best part of 3 fucking months to put together, and with that, both you and me have been on a bit of a fucking journey, even if it's only been like 20 minutes for you. And if there's anything that we've learned so far, it's that as much as shonen manga has changed its looks over the last few years more than a fucking plastic morphing Kardashian, it's that the core message that it houses largely remains the same. Sports manga is always going to be about self-improvement. Crazy, wacky, funny shit has always been crazy, wacky and fun, and every generation has had its share of generic titles. That shonen manga for the most part are just full of feel-good underdog stories, and when I wrote this all the way back in August 2022, I thought that I would sound really smart by saying that and drawing that conclusion. But sometimes you just get a story that is really fucking unique, has some of the most exhilarating chapters ever made, and delivers a message unlike any manga has ever done before. I swear to God it's not Chainsaw Man. What I'm talking about, for example, is a series that captures an author sheer rage towards his country's government. Like, oh, let's say back in 2002, when Japan's national debt was $6.2 trillion, what would a really angry mangaka do with all that pent-up rage and aggression he holds towards people in power? Personally, I just tell him to bust a nut, but the year's 2002, Sho Hazama is a normal kid that gets kicked in the balls, acts as the class clown, and is pretty fucking smooth. This is Sheena. Her dad's just deleted himself after his business went south, when the bank's director denied him the very loan that would keep his business afloat. So, as a result, Sheena, a young woman, is struggling for money. The year is also 2002. OnlyFans would not release for another 14 years, so Sheena has to turn to the oldest profession known to man, sucking on the toes of the very individual that forced her father to delete himself. As you can see, Sawamatsu and his cronies are degrading these hoes one by one as they knowingly swindle overtime, taxpayers' money, pension funds, and expense accounts, all to fuel their lavish lifestyle at the expense of the general public, causing families like Sheena's to fall apart. Also, these elites can get their fucking nut off over how much better they are than the normal person. Actually, you remember that scene from Django when Sam Jackson's character pulled up and just started cursing out Django and dropping N-bombs like, until Django eventually showed back up, oh hi Sho, until, oh yeah, that's right. Sho wants to make an example out of these evil people, so he drags Fatty's newly found corpse outside until he gets fucking gunned down and his head just explodes. But that's okay, because Sho planned for all of this to happen. Wait, what? Yes, he planned for all of this to happen because he kills by a method known as one man, one kill, under the guise of Akumetsu. So the very next day, when you not only see that he's alive, but you see him turning up in different locations, different schools, different jobs, showrunner, news host, stunt driver, barista, fucking scientist. This man is a modern day Johnny Sins. He not only takes over the news, he grips the nation and grabs politics by his fat bulging neck, inspiring the normal person and striking fear into the heart of the elites, all while you're left wondering what the fuck is actually going on. What you will find is that Akumetsu is different to most shonen out there. Most authors want to tell a story that was inspired by another story that was inspired by another story that was ultimately inspired by Berserk. Draw this cool fight and hey, maybe one day get an anime. I'm losing my fucking mind. Yes, Akumetsu is different. Yoshiaki Tabata here clearly has a message that he wants to spread about what real evil looks like. You see, you don't have to worry about that homeless guy that sleeps in his own vomit. No. You need to worry about the people at the top that you can't even see. Those that manipulate you, and even you against each other without you ever knowing it. This series will go deep into the dark political underbelly that still to this day rots Japan to its very core. Then just jump off a 200-story fucking building. The way the story of Akumetsu is told is pretty fucking extreme, and because of this, it can easily fall into the category of hyper-violent murder porn to read when your life isn't going all that well, and rightfully so, because if a manga were to give us an insight into how a writer was feeling at that time, then I like to think that Yoshiaki Tabata was listening to death metal, snorting cocaine off a prostitute's nipples, and shitting in a public toilet with the door fucking wide open, screaming F*** Japan. And while it does have that same energy, what you find is one of the most unique and thought-provoking stories ever listed in a shonen manga, conducted and led by an MC that demands your attention at every given moment. And when those two elements collide, you're left with a story that draws more parallels with today's society than it has ever done before. A dangerous message that will never be seen in manga ever again. And that's the beauty behind Akumetsu. It's real. And if you're really curious as to why, it's because some fucking crackhead somewhere in America, likely fucking Portland, would try and replicate and emulate the entire fucking Akumetsu incident. And through the guise of Akumetsu, Yoshiaki Tabata hammers home a reminder that shonen manga have always been able to break the rules, but even in those most bizarre and off-the-wall stories, shonen manga may look different now, but it has always been wild, fun and exciting, but most of all, that message remains the same. When the big guy is trying to destroy the ones that can't even fight, then it's time to rise up. That is cringe as shit, oh my god. Hi, I'm just going to let this right out to the end credits. I have obviously not uploaded in a long fucking time. Mainly because I am a wage slave, but also because I wanted to make something really fucking special. Which for me and the time it takes is a ginormous risk. Because 90% of the music that I use in these videos is trademarked and has massive copyrights written all over them. Yes, I know, that sounds like a really fucking good idea. Now, this also means I can't run ads on a vid that took up more time to make than my full-time job, decimated my social life, left me fucking sleep deprived, and now has me foaming at the mouth to respectfully abuse people on Tinder Gold. So in the unlikely event that you have not clicked off this video by now, follow the Twitter account that I made for this channel 2 years ago that I'm only now linking to this video because I've only now deleted all the hentai and titties off of it. I'm a changed man, yes I know, it's amazing. Also, I have started a Patreon. Now, I refuse to do tiers because I can't physically clone myself in order to make the extra fucking content. It's just not going to work. But it will mean that you get to see videos up to 3 days early. And if you're lucky, you get to see your name appear in the end credits as a director, all for the low subscription fee of $1 a month. Now, you can accidentally pay more than that, and if you do, it's kind of your own fault, and also, thanks. Thanks. Now, my next video is going to be about rocks that fight.